Hi, we wanted to share one of our favorite Easter storybooks with you. It's called The Garden, the Curtain, and the Cross, written by Carl Lafferton and illustrated by Catalina Echeverri. A very long time ago, right here in this world, there was a garden. Now the garden was very beautiful. Everything was wonderful. It was full of laughing and playing and smiling and fun. There was nothing bad ever, and there was nothing sad ever. And best of all, what's best of all, McKinley? God was there. Hello, Adam. Hello, Eve. He had made it all. He was in charge of it all, and he loved it all. People could see God, and they could speak to God, and they could enjoy just being with God. Eve, God's here. He wants to walk with us again. How cool is that? Yay! How wonderful! I bet it's going to be even more amazing than yesterday. It was wonderful to live with God. But then one day, the people did a terrible thing. They decided that they didn't want to do what God said. They decided that they wanted a world where God wasn't in charge. God calls this sin. Sin spoils things. So sin has no place in God's wonderful garden. God said to the people, "You can't live with me in my garden anymore." And then he sent them outside. Look, Eve is very sad. Are you sad? Can you make a sad face? Good job. To show the people they had to stay outside, God put some warrior angels in front of the garden. They were like a big keep out sign. Now, things were sometimes bad, and things were sometimes sad, but people still kept sinning because they didn't want God to be in charge. Is that little boy sad? Because they're not sharing. You have to share. So no one could come into God's wonderful place. That's a little girl, and she's also sad. God said, because of your sin, you can't come in. Aw, what a bummer. But then what happens? God wanted people to remember, it's wonderful to live with him, but because of your sin, you can't come in. So he told the people to build a special building called his temple, where he would live. In the middle of the temple was the most wonderful place in the world, the place where God was, with nothing bad and nothing sad. It was very exciting. But then God told the people to put up a big curtain around that place. The curtain had pictures of warrior angels on it. It was a big keep out sign. For hundreds of years, the temple curtain reminded people that God said, "It is wonderful to live with him, but because of your sin, you can't come in." Yeah, look what happens. Babies became grown-ups and had babies. And those babies became grown-ups and had babies. And those babies grew up and had babies. Hundreds of summers and winters passed by, and the keep-out curtains stayed in the temple. And then one day, God's Son came to live in this world as a person. He was called Jesus. Yay, Jesus. Jesus always did what God said. Jesus never sinned. See, he's sharing. And Jesus visited the temple where the keep-out curtain hung. Jesus knew that things were sometimes bad and that things were sometimes sad. Jesus said that God had sent him to open the way back into God's wonderful place, where there would be nothing bad and no one sad. But guess what happened? Uh-oh. People still didn't want to let God be in charge. They decided to put Jesus on a cross to die. It was the most bad thing that had ever happened, and it was the most sad thing of all time. But Jesus had a plan. He had always planned to die on the cross. What a strange plan. Why would God's Son plan to die? Oh, look at this. On the cross, Jesus took our sin. This is the cross. All the bad things we do and all the sad things they cause. Jesus took them all away from us. And when he did, something amazing, astonishing, astounding happened. What was it? The curtain tore. God had ripped up the keep out sign. God's wonderful place is open again. Because Jesus died, we can go in. Are you happy? After Jesus died, his friends put him in a tomb. They were very sad. 2 days later, something happened. Then the next morning, Jesus' friends went in to see his body in the tomb. And it wasn't there. Look it, they're running away because there's nothing in the tomb. A little later on, Jesus' friends were all together, and suddenly, Jesus was there, alive. Suddenly, his friends weren't sad. Now they were so happy. God had brought Jesus back to life so that he could live in God's wonderful place forever. And Jesus has sent everyone an invitation to come and live with him there too. He tells us, God says it's wonderful to live with him, but because of our sin, we can't go in. But I died on the cross for your sin. So now all my friends can come in. Yeah. Look at McKinley, all of Jesus' friends, that's you and me. Come here. Come sit down. We can all live with God forever. There will be nothing bad and no one sad. We will see God and speak to God and just enjoy being with God, just as he planned. It will be wonderful to live with him, and it's all because of Jesus. Yay! We will say every day, thank you, Jesus, you're amazing. And you can start saying that today. That's Jesus hugging a little girl who looks just like you. Now, this is a tale that tells the truth, and you can find out more about this story, which basically covers the whole Bible, except shorter. It starts with the garden in Genesis chapters 1 through 3, and then the Old Testament tells about the curtain that God hung in the temple. And then the Gospels show what happened when Jesus came back. In Mark 15 and 16, those tell us how he died and came back to life again. In the very end of the Bible, Revelation gives us a sneak peek at the future, God's wonderful renewed world. Jesus promises that everyone who believes in him will enjoy life there forever. I will come back, then I will take you with me, and you may be where I am. I am the way. John 14, verses 3 and 6.